All right, everybody, what is going on? We have got Edge of Eternities collector boosters. We're going to be doing 2 boxes of openings. We'll check out the cards as we open as normal, and then probably towards the end start going a little bit faster. Looking for some of these great lands, some of the new planet ones. Obviously the other specialty lands, some of this really cool arts, the normal lands, even in the galaxy foils. So here we go. Let's get it cracking. We're going to cut the left one first. And we'll get going. Last opening that we did was Final Fantasy. So no serialized in this, but definitely a very nice heavy land package. So here we go. We'll do left one first. We'll go over here to the right. There we go. Edge of Eternities. Follow us, Death Touch Gaming and Comics. You're seeing it, you're already here, but like it, subscribe it, follow us, hit the notifications. We're going to continue doing openings, and we will be posting from this weekend coming up our first live show recording. So more to come on the channel. There we go. Open this bad boy. First one's gonna give us a rough time, huh? All right, here we go. Do it. We'll pull one. I'll pull this way. Okay, here we go. Wormwall Sleep Weeper. When the spacecraft enters. Trying to see how it's not blurry. Surveil 2. It's a station. For 4, you get flying 2/2. Comet Crawler. Sorry, was that a creature artifact? I haven't even looked at anything. I made a deck and just looked at what I needed. So that's kind of funny. So that's why I'm looking at some of these. Zealous Display. Creatures you control get +2/+0. Return, tap those creatures. Divert Disaster. Counter spells as controller pays 2. If they do, you create a lander token. I like the lander tokens. Shattered Wings. Destroy target artifact enchantment or creature with flying. When this creature enters, exile up to 1 target non-assassin creature until this creature leaves battlefield. Alright. It's uncommon. Infiltrate. This creature can't be blocked if you cast 2 or more spells this turn. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Lightless Evangel. Whenever you sacrifice another creature or artifact, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Dang, that could be good in a couple of the decks that I have. Kavarian Harrier. When this creature attacks, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token that's tapped and attacking. This is what I'm talking about. That is a basic foil land. So gorgeous. Best lands they've done, I don't know, in a while. We'll put that down here in the land pile. First rare, we got Consult all the star charts. Kicker 2. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of lands you control. Put 1 of those cards into your hand. If this spell was kicked, put 2 of those cards into your hand. Instead, put the rest in the bottom. All right, I like it. Here's one of the cards that I needed. Uthros Research Craft. Station it. So it's a spacecraft, the new mechanic. It's a station. So you tap 3, and once it's 3+, whenever you cast an artifact spell, draw a card. Put a charge counter on this spacecraft. Once it gets to 12, it gets flying. It's a 0/8 flying artifact creature, and this spacecraft gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control. Cool card. Oh, another one that I needed. Warmaker Gunship. Artifact, spacecraft, same thing. When this spacecraft enters, it deals damage equal to the number of artifacts you control to target creature an opponent controls. Station 6+, it gives a 4/3 with flying. Look at that. Look at that. Creeping Tar Pit. That is such cool artwork. Killed it with this set, man. And then you got Diadrine. There's a lot of people saying this guy's going to be a fun one to play. Art card. Diadrine, Trample. Diadrine enters with a number of 1/1/1 counters equal to the amount of mana you spend on it. Whenever you attack, you may remove a +1/+1 counter from each of 2 creatures you control. If you do, draw a card and create a 2/2 colors robot artifact creature token. That is a really pretty art of that card, too. Okay, next pack. Here we go, next pack. I am probably going to just breeze through comments instead of looking at every single comment. We'll be here forever doing that. We'll be here forever with me opening the packs at this route. I didn't even see little rip tabs. Let's see, here we go. Mental Modulation, Zealous Display, Nanoform Sentinel, Germinating Worm, Flight Deck, Coordinator. And then we go to Specimen Freighter, so another one of these spacecrafts. You got when this spacecraft enters, return up to 2 target non-spacecraft creatures to their owner's hand. Station 9+, you get flying. Whenever the spacecraft attacks, defending player mills 4 cards. And it's a 4/7. Where did I put my own comments? Up here. All right. Another one, Wedge Light Rammer. When this spacecraft enters, create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token. Station flying and first strike. 9+, you get 3/4. Menoist Circuit Feeder. When this creature enters until end of turn, target creature you control gets +X+0, and target creature an opponent controls -0/-X, where X is the number of artifacts you control. Okay. Cut Propulsion. Target creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. If that creature has flying, it deals twice that much damage to itself. Surge Foil Forest. Look at that. Ugh. They're so good. They're so good. Alfaral Stone Chosen. With a Mythic. Ward, discard a card at random. With Void, whenever an Alfaral attacks. If a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn, or a spell was warped this turn, defending player loses half of their life rounded up. Brutal. Here's a Mountains Plain. This land enters tap with cycling. Full art land. I like that. This card, cool. Nova Hellkite, flying and haste, 4/5. When this creature enters, it deals 1 damage to target creature. And opponent controls. The warp is fun. I like that card. Needle Spires. This land enters tap. You get a white or a red. And then you can pay 2, a white and a red. Until end of turn, this land becomes 2/1 red and white elemental creature to a double strike. It's still a land. Loading Zone can be huge for this set. If one or more counters would be put on a creature, spacecraft, or planet you control, twice that many of each of those kind of counters are put on it instead. And you can pay it for its warp cost. Warp is new. You pay it for the green, comes into play, goes into exile, then later on you can play it for its normal cost. So you get to get like an automatic reaction for it, and then play it for its normal cost later. So need something out quick, let those counters get added up and get doubled quick. It's a good way to warp that out real quick. So we got Hole Carver, Starbreach Whale, always a good one. Cav Landseeker, Flight Deck Coordinator, Galactic Wayfarer, Steel Swarm Operator is our first uncommon. Flying, tap it to add a blue, spend this mana only to cast an artifact spell. Tap, add 2 blue, spend this mana only to activate abilities of artifact creatures. When this enchantment enters, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls with mana value 2 or less until the enchantment leaves the battlefield. Pulsar Squadron Ace. When this creature, there's way too much writing on this. Anyways, moving on to that one. Molecular Modular. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +1/0 first strike until end of turn. Foil full art planes. These are going to probably end up in most of my decks. All these big lands like this. I love that artwork. Sunstar Chaplain. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 2 or more tapped creatures, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. 2, remove a +1/+1 counter from a creature you control, tap target artifact or creature. Long range sensor. When you attack a player, put a charge counter on this artifact. Remove 2 charge counters from this artifact. Discover 4. That's going to be really good in that proliferate deck. The robot. Consult the charts we already saw. Cathedral of War, full art foil. Land this enters tapped. Exalted, and it has tap for colorless. Oh, there we go. This is a good one. This is a really good card. Big pull. The Lander tokens we'll talk about next. This is Gaia's Cradle on a new card. So, Avenger's Waking Haven. This land enters tap. You tap it for a green. When you get 12 tapped counters onto it, pay a green, tap it, add a green for each creature you control. Huge card. That's a real sweet land to go after. And then things that make landers in this set, which these are one of the many lander tokens. 2, you tap it, sacrifice it. This sacrifices token, search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield, tap, and then shuffle. So it's a token that allows you to go after to find basic land cards. That Waking Heaven, that's a huge land to pull. Gotta work for it to get the Gaia's Cradle ability out, but who cares? So we got Lux Knight Breacher, Hole Carver, Banishing Light, Drill Too Deep, Ilvoy Operative, Scour for Scrap, and then we'll start with Glacier Godmaw. Trample. When this creature enters, create a lander token. Landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain vigilance and haste until end of turn. 7 for a 6/6. Okay, I don't hate it. Bygone Colossus, warp for 3. He's at 9/9 for 9. So turn 3 for 1 turn. Does it get haste? It doesn't get haste. So if you could give him haste, on turn 3 you could drop a 9/9. Or he can, because of Summoning Sickness, you could drop a 9/9, tap it to do one of your stations. He could be getting something going real quick. So that's kind of handy with doing that side of things. Siege Ship Impact. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. If its mana value was 2 or less, create a lander token. Another one of those gorgeous lands. That's a normal foil. Pain for All. Enchant creature you control. When this aura enters, enchanted creature deals damage equals power to any other target. When enchanted creature is dealt damage, deals that much damage to each opponent. Yuck. Okay. Moxite Refinery. Tap 2 and remove X counters from an artifact or creature you control. Choose one, activate only as a sorcery. Put X charge counters on target artifact. Put X 1/1 counters on target creature. Keep in mind your stations are artifacts prior to becoming creatures. So this is enabled to bounce things around on that one. So that's great for that. Esteli Reclaimer. Flying. When this creature enters, return target non-creature, non-land permanent card with mana value X or less from your graveyard or the battlefield, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast this creature. Where X is the amount of mana spent to cast this creature. Oh, because you could warp it or you could pay it for 5. Okay. Alright. Meteor Crater. Gorgeous. Choose a color of a permanent you control. Add 1 mana of that color. That Meteor Crater is awesome. Secluded Starforge, another rare one of these awesome art lands. Tap it for a colorless. 2 and tap X untapped artifacts you control. Target creature gets +X/+0 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. 5 and tap, create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token. And then here's another one of the landers with a robot on the back. Beep boop. There is spacecrafts, the space station guys. I'm after those. I'm making a space station deck. The Lobster Commander, because I think that might be a second. I guess I should still say these. Night Luminary, Biosynthetic Burst, Starfighter Pilot, Ilvoy Operative, Skyslinger, and then we go to an Uthros Psionicist. Second spell you cast each turn costs 2 less to cast. Scout for Survivors. For 3, return up to 3 target creature cards with mana value 3 or less. From your graveyard to the battlefield, put a 1/1 count on each of them. There's a Fell Grav ship. When this spacecraft enters, mill 3 cards, then return a creature or spacecraft card from your graveyard to your hand station. He's 8+, he gets flying and lifelink, it's a 3/2. Mouth of the Storm, flying, ward 2. When this creature enters, creatures your opponent's control get -3/-0 until your next turn. 7 for a 6/6. That is that a Galaxy? Yeah, that's a Galaxy. Galaxy Foil Mountain. You got Cosmogoyf. This creature's power is equal to the number of cards you own in exile, and its toughness is equal to the number +1. So we got another Goyf creature. Baalith Prime. This is broken as all shit. This creature enters tapped with 6 stun counters on it. Whenever you sacrifice a land, create a tap 4/4 green beast creature token and untap this creature. There's a deck that's all about sacrificing lands. You're going to be just creating a ton of 4/4s. Breeding Pool. Great full art breeding pool. As this land enters, you may pay 2 life. If you don't, it enters tapped. So the shock lands are back. And here's a full art breeding pool. Gorgeous. Grove of the Burn Willows. I didn't even know they made this one in this art. I have this in my Robin Hood deck. You can tap it for colorless, or you can do a green and a red, and each opponent gains 1 life. Oh, there's one of the cool arts. Insect. Settle Explorer. This is an elemental and a gnome. That is a big, I think this is a big pull. I think this is the big full art. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. You may play lands from your graveyards and landfall whenever the land you control enters, mill a card. I don't know as far as like heat-wise of how big he is, but I know that that's like the better art of him. Definitely one of the cool cards. Here we go. Starry Trail, Biosynthetic Burst, Auxiliary Boosters, Nebula Dragon, Swarmcaller, Ruinous Rampage is our first uncommon. Emergency Eject. We're going to start going through these uncommons now. Eusotional Engineering. Whenever a land you control enters, create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token. You can warp it for 2. That is kind of cool. Atomic Microsizer. Equipped creature gets +1/+0. Equipped creature attacks. Choose up to 1 target creature. That creature can't be blocked this turn and has base power toughness 1/1. Okay, if you say so, Charlie. Swamp. These lands are so good. So good. The art on this set. Pinnacle Starcage. When this artifact enters, exile all artifacts and creatures with mana value 2 or less until the artifact leaves the battlefield. 8, put each card exiled with this artifact to its owner's graveyard. Then create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token for each card. Put it into a graveyard this way. Sacrifice this artifact. Alright. There's a Vernal Fen. This land enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Green and black. Again, gorgeous artwork. There is the commander I am building. The Infinite Guideline Station. It's a Wooburg. When this Infinite Guideline Station enters, create a tap 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token for each multicolored permanent you control. When it has 12, whenever Infinite Guideline Station attacks, draw a card for each multicolored permanent you control. It's a 7/15. I need to get this in a foil, because that's the commander that I am building. Lumbering Falls. Land enters tapped. Add a green or blue. 2 and green and blue until end of turn. This land becomes a 3/3 green and blue elemental creature token with hexproof. It's still a land. The lands in this set I'm going to keep saying it. There's the foil version of that ship that I pulled earlier. Are worth the set and alone. Because the lands are absolutely gorgeous. We're just going on to the right side of this first box, and we got a second box. Intrepid Tenderfoot, Rig for War, Grav Kill, Red Tiger Mechan, Focus Fire, Dual Sun Technique is our first uncommon. Target creature controlling is double strike until end of turn. If it has a 1/1 counter, draw a card. Okay. I don't hate that. Biomechan Engineer. When this creature enters, create a lander token. 8, draw 2 cards and create a 2/2 colors robot artifact creature token. Hymn of the Faller. For 2, surveil 1, then draw a card and lose 1 life. Void. If a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn, and the spell is warped this turn, draw another card. Debris Field Crusher. Another one of the space stations. When this spacecraft enters, it deals 3 damage to any target, and then when it's 8+, it gets flying. It's a 1/5. You can pay 2. This spacecraft gets +2 until end of turn. +2, +0. Dark Forest. Frenzied Baloth is another green card that's absolutely crazy. This spell can't be countered. Trample, haste. Creature spells you control can't be countered, and combat damage can't be prevented. 3/2 for 2 green. Wild. You got Patrolling Peacemaker. This creature enters with 2 1/1 counters on it. Whenever an opponent commits a crime, proliferate. That's going to be a fun deck. Cosmogoyf. This creature's power is equal to the number of cards you own in exile, and toughness is equal to that number +1. The Goyf, but full art. Shambling Vent. This land enters tapped. It's a white or a black, and you can pay 1 and a white and a black until end of turn. This land becomes a 2/3 white and black elemental creature with lifelink. It's still a land. And something. I have no idea what card this is. It's something. It's a Japanese foil, which is going to be unlike Final Fantasy. I'm sure these will probably not be worth anything like the other ones, but I don't even know what card that is. I'll have to look that up. But generally, the Japanese are generally hard to pull, but don't carry as much value. So, it is what it is. It's always a bummer to me when you pull a really nice card and then it's Japanese. Pinnacle Kill Ship. Plate Pangolin. Oh no, Pangolin. Isn't that what started COVID-19 at one point? Ice Cave Crasher. Cav Landseeker. Divert Disaster. Tapestry Warden is our first uncommon. Each creature you control with toughness greater than its power assigns combat damage equal to toughness. Another toughness matters. Each creature you control with toughness greater than its power station's permanence using the toughness rather than its power. Oh, so it affects stationing things. That's kind of cool. Code Cracker Hound. You got a little doggy. When this creature enters, look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put 1 in your hand and the other into your graveyard. Warp 3. Oh, and then you can play it for 3. Servatum the Lucent. 2 white, double black, Death Touch, lifelink. Whenever Servandum enters or attacks other creatures you control, get +1, +0, gain Death Touch, and until end of turn. Okay. Scrounge for Eternity. As an additional cost to this spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Return target creature or space for a card mana value less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Then create a lander token. Okay. Galaxy Foil Swamp. So good. 0 Point Ballad. Destroy all creatures with toughness X or less. You lose X life. As X is 6 or more, return a creature card put into a graveyard this way into the battlefield under your control. Solar Array. Add 1 mana of any color. When you next cast an artifact spell this turn, it gets Sunburst for 3. Oh, Slivers. They're back. For 6, you get an affinity for Slivers. Slivers you control have double strike and haste. At the beginning of your upkeep, create 2 1/1 colorless sliver creature tokens. Boom! There's a big one. There's an Eldrazi Temple. Tap it for a colorless. Tap it for 2. Spend this mana to cast colorless Eldrazi spells or activate Eldrazi abilities. Cool color. Cool one. There's a Shockland foil Watery Grave. Always gotta love seeing Shocklands. We got a couple more. Definitely feels a little bit more like a player set as opposed to what we just came out of with Final Fantasy, where it was like collector set. It felt like more. You definitely have some good stuff in here with Shocklands and, you know, some fun commander type stuff. Hemosymbic Might. Whenever this creature becomes tapped, another target creature you control gets +X/+X into honor where X is this creature's power. Mouth of the Storm. Flying Ward 2. When this creature enters, your opponents get mad. We saw that one. Memorial Team Leader. During your turn, your creatures you control get +1/+0. Warp it for 2. Honored Knight Captain. When this creature enters, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Sacrifice this creature. Your library. Search your library for an equipment card. Put it onto the battlefield and shuffle for 6. Foil planes. They don't get worse. There's a breeding pool. Foil, not full art, but I'll still take it. Depth Shaker Titan. When this creature enters, any number of target non-creature artifacts you control become 3/3 artifact creatures. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. Each artifact creature you control has melee, trample, and haste. Yikes. Adagio Windswept Bastion. This is a new one of the planet ones. This land enters, tap for white. 12. You can pay 4 and tap. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact or enchantment you control. Except for its legendary, activate only as a sorcery. So it's a way to make copies of things. Echoing Deeps. Galaxy Foil. Dope. You may have this land enter tapped as a copy of any land card in a graveyard, except for it's a cave in addition to its other types. Tap it for a colorless, but it is Galaxy Foil. Oh, the Galaxy Foil, man, so good. Exile all creatures and spacecraft for 5. Beyond the Quiet. So this is a Winds of Abandonment. Oh no, because it's exile all. It's yours too. I myself always try to go after the ones that hit just others. But something that exiles, not a good option. And super pretty artwork. Alright, here we go. Virus Beetle, Radiant Strike, Drix Fatemaker, Embrace Oblivion, Sky Singer, and then we got Starfield Shepherd for 5. Flying. When this creature enters, search your library for a basic plains card or creature card with mana value 1 or less. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Warp it for 2. Uthros Scan Ship. Whenever the spacecraft enters, draw 2 cards and discard a card. You can 8. It gets flying. That's a 4/4. Tanic, not the good Tanic. The red Tanic is amazing. Landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, Tanic deals 1 damage to each opponent. If it's the second time this ability is resolved this turn, draw a card. Timeline Kohler. You cast this card from your graveyard using its warp ability. You can warp it for 1 but pay 2 life. It's kind of neat. It's a Warlock, Drix Warlock. Look at the islands. Oh, the islands are so good. Again, killed the lands. Memorial Vault. Artifact. Sacrifice another artifact. Exile the top X cards of your library where X is 1 plus the mana value. Sacrifice artifact. You can play those cards this turn. Ooh, there's an In Spirit flagship vessel. So it's almost my commander. I went a different way. A blue, a red, a white. It's a station. +1, you get at the beginning of combat on your turn, put your choice of a +1/+1 counter or 2 charge counters and up to another target artifact. So you can put 2 charge counters on any other thing that interferes with charges counters, or you can put charge counters on other spacecraft to get them closer to their bottom number. And then at 8, flying, other artifacts you control have hexproof and indestructible. It's a 5/5. Oh, there he is. There's our boy. Rhagost, Deft Gastronaut. This is the lobster Citizen, artifacts you control are foods in addition to their other types and have 2. Sacrifice artifact, you gain 3 life. Normal food. 1 and tap it, sacrifice a food. He deals 3 damage to each opponent. And at the beginning of each end step, if you gain life this turn, untap Regulist. Cool card. Full, especially on that. Oh, this card. Cascading Cataracts. Land, indestructible, tap it for a colorless. Pay 5, add 5 mana in any combination of colors. Pretty. Ooh, this is a big one. Here's an Uthros Titanic God Core. It's a land planet. This planet enters tap for blue at 12, but you get to tap it 1 blue and tap it, add a blue for each artifact you control. So it's a Talarian on a planet. We've pulled the Gaia and the Talarian out of this box, and 2 Shocklands. Looking pretty crisp. Looking pretty good. All right. Cavatron, Turbodrone, Squire's Lightblade, Embrace Oblivion, Lost in Space, Sammy's Curiosity, Edge Rovers are first uncommon. Reach, when this creature dies, each player creates a lander token. Not a total huge fan of that one, but Interceptor McCann, 2, a black and a red. When this creature enters, return target artifact or creature card from your graveyard to your hand. At the beginning of your end step, if a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn, or a spell was warped this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Okay. Lash Whip Predator for 6. This spell costs 2 less to cast if your opponents control 3 or more creatures. It's reach for 5/7. So it could potentially be a 4 for a 5/7 with reach. Okay. There's the Hilderblade. 1 black. Equipped creature gets +3/+1. Void at the beginning of your end step. If a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn or spell was warped this turn, attach this equipment to target creature you control equipment for 4. That's alright. Oh, so good. So good. Elegy Acolyte. Lifelink, whenever more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you draw a card and lose a life at the beginning of your end step. If a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn or spell was warped this turn, created 2/2. Mono black is looking like a thing too. Scouring Swarm, whenever you sacrifice land, create a tap token that's a copy of this creature. If 7 or more lands are in your graveyard, otherwise create a tap 1/1 black inside. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Scute Swarm and this going on. This could get gross. Singularity Rapture. This card is the Buy a Box promo. There's the Buy a Box promo. This is insane. 3, a blue, 2 black. Destroy all creatures. Then, any number of target players each mill half of their library, rounded down. So bonkers. Strip Mine. Land, tap it for a colorless, and you can tap it to just sacrifice this land, destroy target land. It's a foil. Strip Line is a mythic. We saw a Pinnacle Starcage for rare. We're on to our last pack. We're at 33 minutes for this box with me kind of checking things out and looking things. I'm going to stop at this one, and then I'll rip the second box on its own video. So we'll have essentially 3 videos for Edge. 1 for each collectors, and then 1 for the play booster. I'm actually going to rip half the play booster. Orbital Plunge, Intrepid Tenderfoot, Depressurize, Ilvoy Light Jammer, Bright Spear Zealot, and then we are to our Mechan Assembler. Whenever an artifact you control enters, create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token. Ability triggers once each turn. Virulent Silencer. Whenever a non-token artifact creature you control deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. Ugh. That's not fun. Target creature, we saw that one. Tragic Trajectory. Target creature, oh yeah, we saw that. Oh, no we didn't. Target creature gets -2/-2 until turn. Void. That creature gets -10/-10 until end of turn instead. If a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn or a spell was warped this turn. Huh. Little Galaxy Foil Plane. Okay, this one, awesome. This is goes Anyone that's building the lobster deck has to put this in that deck. Weapons manufacturing. Whenever a non-token artifact you control enters, create a colorless artifact token named munitions. When this token leaves the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to any target. So it creates this munitions. This munitions is now food. He can sacrifice it. He's going to do 3 damage to everyone, and then this is going to do 2 damage to another person. That's so crazy. Radiant Summit. Red and white. This land enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. It's a mountains and plains, so it's fetchable. Quantum Riddler, flying. When this creature enters, draw a card. As long as you have 1 or fewer cards in hand, if you would draw 1 or more cards, you draw that many cards plus 1 instead. Warp for 2. And an Ancient Tomb. Whoa, an Ancient Tomb. Full art, mythic Ancient Tomb. Dang. Tap, add double. This land is 2 damage to you. Ancient Tomb, that's a sweet hit. And that artwork on that. Famished Worldsire, Ward 3, devour a land for 3. When this creature enters, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is this creature's power. Put any number of land cards from among them onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle for 8. Well, that was a pretty good first box. I gotta say, we pulled some good stuff out of there. The lands. And we'll see what the Ancient Tomb looks like. Some of the Galaxy Foils or some good stuff. We'll be posting box number 2 coming soon. Thank you for following, and we'll see you soon.